A man walks into his supervisor's office at 6:47 a.m. His hands are shaking. His face is drained of color. He places his badge on the desk, turns around, and walks out of the building he's protected for 7 years. He never comes back. He never explains why, and to this day, he refuses to speak about what happened during his final shift. This is the story of a security guard who saw something so disturbing in a place designed to protect people that he abandoned his entire career in a single morning. What could possibly make someone throw away years of stability, leave behind a steady paycheck, and vanish without a trace? The answer is more terrifying than you think. For 7 years, this man was the model employee. 0 incidents, 0 complaints, 0 reasons to ever question his commitment to the job. He worked night shifts at a facility meant to keep people safe, a place where nothing unusual ever happened, until one night, everything changed. By the time the sun rose, he was gone forever. Today, we're going to uncover 3 chilling secrets that explain why he left. First, we'll reveal what his years of silence actually meant. Second, we'll expose what happened during that one unexplained night that was never officially documented. And third, we'll show you the psychological aftermath that proves whatever he witnessed was real enough to destroy his entire life. Stay until the end, because the final revelation will change how you see the places you trust most. Let's start with what makes this story so unsettling. This wasn't some rookie who panicked on his first week. This was a veteran. 7 full years patrolling the same hallways. 7 years of night shifts where nothing happened. No break-ins, no emergencies, no unexplained sounds or shadows. Just routine checks, hourly reports, and the quiet hum of fluorescent lights. His supervisors praised him. His co-workers trusted him. He was the guy you could count on to show up, do the job, and go home without drama. But here's what most people miss. That consistency wasn't just professionalism, it was proof. When someone works in security for that long without a single serious incident, it establishes a baseline of reality. It means he knew what normal looked like. He understood the sounds of the building settling. He recognized the patterns of late-night staff. He could distinguish between a loose door and something actually wrong. This matters because when someone with that level of experience suddenly abandons everything, you can't dismiss it as paranoia or imagination. Think about it. If you worked somewhere for 7 years and nothing ever scared you, what would it take to make you quit overnight? Not a strange noise, not an uncomfortable feeling. It would take something so fundamentally wrong, so impossible to rationalize, that staying one more shift felt more dangerous than losing your livelihood. His years of silence weren't just employment history. They were the foundation that makes what happened next absolutely undeniable. But the silence didn't last forever. One night shattered 7 years of normalcy in a way that couldn't be ignored, couldn't be explained, and most importantly, couldn't be officially recorded. Here's where it gets disturbing. On one specific night, a date that's never been publicly confirmed, something happened during his shift. We know this not because of any official report, but because of what didn't happen. No incident form was filed, no supervisor was contacted, no security footage was reviewed, nothing entered the system. For a facility that documented everything from burned out light bulbs to misplaced keys, this absence of paperwork is deafening. Former co-workers who spoke anonymously years later mentioned whispers. They said he finished his rounds that night, but something was different. His radio communication stopped at a specific time. The next log entry came hours later, written in handwriting that looked rushed, almost frantic. The words themselves were standard. Rounds completed, no issues, but the timing gap couldn't be explained. What was he doing during those missing hours? Why did the cameras in one particular section of the facility conveniently malfunction that same night? The most chilling detail. When questioned casually by colleagues the next morning, he didn't deny that something happened. He just said, "I can't talk about it. Not nothing happened. Not you're imagining things." He acknowledged the event, by refusing to speak about it. That distinction is critical. Denial would suggest he was trying to convince people nothing was wrong. But silence suggests that talking about it might make it more real, might give it power, or worse, might put others in danger. One co-worker later recalled asking him directly, "Did you see something?" His response was a single sentence that still haunts everyone who heard it. "There are things in this world that you're better off not knowing exist." Then he walked away. That was the last meaningful conversation he had with anyone at the facility. What kind of experience makes someone refuse to even describe what they witnessed? What could be so beyond normal comprehension that documentation itself becomes impossible? The answer lies not in what he said, but in what he became. The transformation was immediate. The morning after that undocumented night, everyone noticed something had fundamentally changed. The man who used to joke with the day shift crew now walked past them without making eye contact. The guard who knew every corner of the building suddenly refused to enter certain areas, even during daylight hours with other people present. His hands developed a tremor that wasn't there before. He started flinching at sounds that never bothered him during 7 years of night shifts. His supervisor tried to address it. "Are you okay? Do you need some time off?" His response was automatic, almost rehearsed. "I'm fine." But his actions told a different story. He stopped eating lunch at the break room. He began parking his car facing the exit, keys in the ignition, as if ready to flee at any moment. Co-workers found him standing in the parking lot during his breaks, just staring at the building with an expression they described as haunted. The psychological impact was so severe that it couldn't be hidden. This wasn't stress. This wasn't burnout. This was the behavior of someone who had witnessed something that violated their understanding of reality. Psychologists have a term for this: acute ontological shock. It happens when someone experiences something so far outside their framework of what's possible that their entire sense of safety in the world collapses. Combat veterans show similar symptoms. Survivors of extreme trauma exhibit the same withdrawal. But here's what makes this case different. He never sought help. No therapy. No counseling, no attempt to process whatever happened. Why? Because talking about trauma requires naming it, describing it, confronting it, and he seemed absolutely committed to never doing that. It was as if speaking the truth about what he saw would somehow make him complicit in it, or worse, make him a target again. 3 weeks after that night, he submitted his resignation. No 2-week notice. No exit interview, just a badge on a desk and a man walking out of a building he'd protected for 7 years without once looking back. He moved to a different state within a month, changed his phone number, cut off contact with everyone from his old life. A man doesn't burn his entire existence to the ground unless he believes something is still hunting him. So what did he actually see? Here's the truth that keeps people awake at night. We don't know, but maybe that's precisely the point. Maybe the most terrifying part of this story isn't what he witnessed. It's that it was real enough to destroy a man's entire life, and we still can't name it. Because if it was a person, he would have reported it. If it was a crime, there would be evidence. If it was a hallucination, he wouldn't have quit. He would have gotten medical help. The only explanation that fits all the facts is the one nobody wants to accept. He saw something that exists in the margins of reality, something that doesn't follow the rules we've agreed upon, something that proves the world is stranger and more dangerous than we allow ourselves to believe. And the reason he never spoke about it, because some doors once opened can never be closed again. Some knowledge once gained can never be forgotten. He chose silence not to protect himself, but to protect everyone else from knowing that certain places, even those meant to keep us safe, are never truly secure. The lesson here isn't about fear, it's about trust. We trust that the people protecting us will tell us when something is wrong. We trust that the places designed for safety are actually safe. But this story proves that sometimes the silence is the warning. When someone who has no reason to lie, no history of drama, and everything to lose walks away from their entire life without explanation, believe them. Their silence is the loudest alarm they can sound. If this story disturbed you, Good, it should. Subscribe to this channel right now so you never miss our next deep dive into the mysteries that hide in plain sight. Hit that notification bell because next week we're investigating the hospital wing that was sealed off for reasons the staff still won't discuss. Some truths are too dangerous to ignore.